Hi, I'm Alexis and I'm a virtual assistant. Before anything else, I want to be clear that I am not selling anything here. Um, Over the years, I've worked across different roles, teams, and hiring setups, both with agencies and direct employers. And I've seen a lot of VAs struggle not because they lack skills, but because their experience isn't being presented in a way recruiters and hiring systems actually understand. So I wanted to put together a simple practical guide that helps you slow things down and make your experience clearer without shortcuts or exaggeration. I created it because it's the start of a new year, and many of you are either trying to land your first VA role or you're looking for a new one. That's usually when resumes come back out, job posts start piling up, and the confusion around what ATS systems and what recruiters want really starts to show up. Just a quick disclaimer on what this guide is and isn't, so that we can set expectations clearly. It's a guide meant to help you understand how recruiters and ATS systems commonly review VA applications and how to align your resume and cover letter with that process in an honest way. It is not a guarantee of interviews or job offers, and it is not meant to replace employer requirements or professional advice. Hiring decisions depend on many factors outside of any resume or system. It is not about becoming someone else on paper. It is not about adding tools you don't know or skills you haven't used. The goal here is clarity and presenting your real experience in a way that makes sense to the people reviewing it, so the right opportunities can see the fit without confusion or exaggeration. Sorry, I was just adjusting the video there for a bit, but the first and most important place to start before changing anything on your resume is role clarity. Not VA in general, but this VA role for this type of business with these responsibilities. Recruiters aren't looking for someone who can do everything and anything. They're looking for someone who can do a specific role really well. And that's why this guide walks you through choosing one role at a time, whether it's an executive role, marketing VA, operations and support, customer support, and so on. If you apply to different types of roles, it's okay to have different resume versions. What matters is that each one is focused. Another thing that I really want to emphasize is honesty. It is a non-negotiable. It's something I really want to be clear about. Do not list skills you don't actually have. Do not add tools you've never used. Don't claim responsibilities you didn't perform. Recruiters notice inconsistencies quickly, and this usually happens in interviews. Alignment works best when it's real, and honesty protects you in the long run. How they actually scan resumes is another thing that the guide covers. Most recruiters don't read resumes from top to bottom like a story. They usually scan it in this order, from the job title, the summary, the skills and tools, the work experience, education, and everything else only if it's relevant. They're checking for match and consistency, and that's why the order of the prompts matters. So this is actually where I want to slow down for a bit and talk about how to use the prompts, because the order matters, and so does how you think about them. The prompts in this guide are meant to be used in order. You start by documenting what you've actually done, even if it's messy, notes, bullet points, old resumes, all of that is fine. Then you analyze the job post to understand what the employer is looking for. Only after that do you align your experience using recruiter-friendly language without exaggeration. Your skill section is derived from proof. Your professional summary mirrors your resume, and your cover letter simply connects the dots. You don't need to perfect each step, you just need to follow them in order. Okay, so for the first prompt, it's your actual work experience. So your truth comes first. The very first prompt asks you to document what you've actually done. And I want to emphasize this part. This is not about sounding impressive. It's about being accurate. Um, when it says paste your raw work experience, that can look like messy notes, bullet points, old resumes, task lists, or even incomplete thoughts. And this is where people tend to overthink, but don't. Just start simple. An example is, I saw this on the internet a few years ago, and the task was something very basic like changing a light bulb. If you paste changed a light bulb, that's honest and that's enough to start. What you do not want to do is exaggerate it into something like lead facility wide electrical optimization initiatives. That sounds impressive, but it's not accurate. And that's where people get in trouble. The goal of the prompt is not to inflate your work, it's to clearly document what actually happened so it can be translated properly later. Honesty at this stage protects everything that comes after. The next would be prompt 1B, I think. Job post analysis. This is when we define the target. This prompt is about the job post and not you. This is where you analyze what the role is actually called, what tools are required, what responsibilities show up repeatedly, and what keywords ATS systems are likely scanning for. Think of it as understanding the language of the role, not copying it word for word. You're not trying to become the job post, you're trying to understand what the employer is prioritizing. The next is prompt 1C, resume bullet alignment. Translation, not exaggeration, and this is where alignment happens. And this is important. Alignment is not exaggeration. Using the earlier example, if you changed a light bulb, a recruiter aligned version might be perform basic maintenance tasks to support daily operations, and that is still honest. It doesn't claim expertise you don't have, it simply uses clearer, more professional language. This prompt helps translate real experience into recruiter recognized wording without adding skills, tools, or scope that weren't there. And then for the next prompt, we have skills and tools derived from proof. Once your work experience is aligned, then you move to skills and tools. And this part is important because your skills section should summarize what your experience already proves. If a skill doesn't show up in your work experience, then it doesn't belong in your skills section, even if it appears in the job post. So recruiters expect consistency between skills, experience, and summary. This prompt helps you build a clean ATS-friendly skills section that's supported by proof. I promise we're almost done. Your professional summary comes next, and this is where a lot of resumes go wrong. The summary should not introduce anything new. It should simply mirror what your resume already shows. Think of it as a snapshot, role alignment, key experience, skills, and tools. If it's not backed up anywhere else in your resume, it shouldn't appear in the summary. And then the final step is the cover letter. This is where you connect the dots. It is not a personality letter. It is not your life story. It is a short explanation of why this resume fits a specific role. If your resume already proves you can do the job, then the letter just helps the reader see the connection more clearly. And then one last thing, if your first output doesn't feel perfect, that's okay. Clarity comes from organizing what's already there, not from having perfect input. Take this one step at a time, follow the order, and stay honest throughout the process. Applying for roles, especially as a VA, can feel overwhelming. There's a lot of pressure to stand out, and sometimes that leads people to overdo it. My hope is that this guide helps you slow things down, get clearer on your experience, and feel more confident presenting what you already know how to do. You do not need to exaggerate or become someone else to be a strong candidate. Clarity and alignment go a long way. Take this one step at a time again. Use what's helpful, leave what's not, and trust that being honest and intentional will always serve you better in the long run. Okay, so thanks for being here, and I hope this guide supports you in a practical, grounded way. Bye!